most people are generally familiar with the idea of who Hercules is. So there's a lot of stuff I don't really need to go into in terms of backstory. He's the son of Zeus. His stepmom Hera doesn't like him. In many ways, he's one of the archetypes of the hero's journey in terms of the legend of him and his 12 labors. But in public consciousness, very little is known of the specifics of what exactly he went and did. A few things have popped up in like the Kevin Sorbo Hercules TV show in the 90s or the Disney animated movie and maybe some of the old Italian Hercules movies that were made back in the day. They draw from the 12 labors myth. And every once in a while, I'll run into someone else who actually knows what the specific labors are. But what they entailed, basically, his hero's journey began. His call to adventure was Hera cursing him to go into a blind, murderous rage and kill his wife and children. And then when he comes to, he's horribly ashamed with himself, wants to seek penance, but doesn't want to seek it from the gods. So he goes to a local king and asks him for some great task he can do to redeem himself. And the king doesn't necessarily want him to be there or want anything to do with this, but it's fucking Hercules, so, what are you going to do, say no to the guy? So he just tells him 12 seemingly impossible things and sends him off on his way. And Hercules goes off, he fights, destroys and defeats a lot of really big, tough animals, like the Erymithian boar and the Nemean lion, Stymphalian birds, the Hydra, which is probably the most famous thing from the entire set of labors that Hercules is still known for and associated with to this day. Yeah, he had to tame a great bull of Crete. His final big, great challenge, the thing that was the most impossible of all, is he had to go and steal Cerberus back and bring him back to the gates of hell. But in the midst of all that, one thing that's always kind of skipped over and just barely hinted upon is the idea that he had to steal the belt of Hippolytes. And what really happened with that pertains to the title of this video. Hippolyte was the warrior queen of the Amazons. And she had spies throughout the land. And so when Hercules shows up to steal her belt, she already knew why he was there. She had already heard of Hercules. He had already gone through about half his labors by the time he got to her. And a lot of her advisors just wanted her to kill him just right off the bat or deny him entry to her lands. But, she was cocky. And Hercules is famous and certainly a prime specimen of manhood. And despite their rejection of wanting to live amongst men, the Amazons still had biological functions to continue their own bloodlines. And the idea of a man like Hercules planting a daughter in her, what an heiress that could be. And so Hercules goes in and sees kind of what's going on. He gets the vibe. And so he plays into it and seduces her as she seduces him. It's a little bit of a double play. They're equals. And once they get into bed and she has her guard down, he just straight up strangles her, breaks her neck, and takes her belt. And of course, the Amazons were all on alert on their own for some sort of betrayal from him. And so he has to fight his way out of there. And Hercules killed all the Amazons in doing so. And then he goes on to fight the giant Geryon and steal an apple. And as I said, get Cerberus back for Hades. And he's so-called redeemed. And the Amazons are no more. That's why they just kind of disappear from the storyline of the Greek shared universe that they had back in the day. The more you know, kids, the more you know.